Today is the first trading day of 2025, and it was pretty exciting day today. On the Nasdaq, you can see it pulled back to its 50 SMA and actually undercut it just a little bit here, which is kind of what I expected. So I like it when the Nasdaq does what I expect it to do. I don't like expectation breakers. But yeah, pulled back to its 50 today. You can see the 50 was at 19,214 and the low of the session was 19,117. So 100, maybe 100 points below the 50, but it rallied back above it to close, just a tick above it there. You can see 0.3%. So to me, this is good action. And I'm thinking you're going to see a little bit more sideways action here for the first couple of weeks of 2025. Anyway, um, the volume was heavy today. We're seeing increasing volume here. So the first day of 2025 is in the books. It's a downer for the Nasdaq, down 30 points or 0.16%, close at 19,280. You can see that volume there, 23% above the average. I just want to show you a little something. We got the old okey doke, rope-a-dope, rug pull, whatever you want to call it. Air pockets, the trap door fell through. Lucy pulled the football from Charlie Brown, whatever you want to call it. We had this rip-roaring, rocking first half hour, and then it came back a little bit. And you say, just a little bit of pullback. It's going to keep going up. It went up to what, 517, came down to 19,300, went up another 140 points to 19,442, and then whoop, there's your trap door. There's your okey doke. And it's like you got, Lucy pulling the football from Charlie Brown. You end up on your backside. If you get too squirrely in this market, you don't want to be going 100%, but plus margin, 200% in this market. This is not the type of market to be doing that. The encouraging thing is that it made that low there and retested it and then closed higher on the session, not higher for the session, but higher from, off the lows. So that is encouraging that maybe we'll just because it undercut the 20th, right? It undercut the move from the 20th, which was what I expected here. Um, on the 20th, the low was 19,168. Undercut that, undercut the 50, and that's probably a level of support here. And I don't expect a face ripper rally back above 20,000, but if it just traded sideways for tomorrow and parts of next week, I think that would be constructive for the Nasdaq. We're in between, Fed decisions and earnings season, so it's just it's not trading on much news. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. Um, Hold on here. I'm going to go to the SPY because the SPY is under the 50, so the Nasdaq is healthier than these other indices. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, well below the 50. And the IWM, even though it was up today, it's still well below the 50. So the NASDAQ is the playground we want to look at. And I like to look at leading stocks to judge the market. That tells me the health of the market. And I think leading stocks are doing pretty well. I'm going to start with the Batman stocks. These are the large, mega cap technology stocks. Broadcom looks good to me. It made that high of 251. It's just kind of flagging now. After the earnings report, it blasted higher and it's just starting to trade tight. It pulled back to its 10 EMA today and finished flat on this session. That's fine. Heck, like I say, if it just goes flat for the next week or two, that'd be fantastic, I think, for Broadcom. And Apple had some news today. Some analysts came out and said that the iPhone 16 not selling well. Every other day you hear it's selling well, it's not selling well. You're just gonna have to wait till they report earnings once again on January 30th. Sometimes these um, analysts have agendas, they want to drive the stock down, but Apple had a nice run in 2024. So, for it to give some back, it was up 33%, I think, in '04, excuse me, 24. And so for it to start off, giving some back, that's kind of normal and natural. We're just gonna have to wait and see at their earnings report. Tesla had deliveries today, not it was a little bit of a miss for Tesla. They don't report earnings till the 22nd, so you're gonna have to wait Their energy storage was up, so the bulls can point to that. The bears can point to, slowing deliveries for it is a car company, right? Their car sales are slowing. So anyway, Tesla's always got a lot of bulls and bears out. And anyway, so they were jawing today, and the bears looked like it won this session as Tesla was down 6%. Microsoft is not looking good, folks. This one sliced all of its moving averages here, well below the uh, 50, well below the 200 now, which is a little concerning for the AI play, right? This is one of the dominant hyperscalers. And it's now down 1.6% below that black line there, that 200. So the long-term moving average is not a friend of Microsoft now. It's probably going to be a little bit of resistance there. Meta, I was going to put this on my ready list today, because it's just trading right near that 602.95. It rallied up, then pulled back to the 50 and found support. But I'm just not in the mood to be real. Put a lot of stocks on right now. I think you got to be careful. Our friend Mike Webster said the best 2 weeks to go on vacation is the first 2 weeks in January. It's really tough trading here, and it has been for a long, long time. Anyway, that's it for Meta Platforms and Microsoft. Amazon is our A, with our first A, and this one pulled back today below its 21 and closed just a tick below the 21. So watching to see if it gets support there. And then Google, the quantum computing uh, um, internet king, pulled back to its 21 and bounced slightly today. Quite a bit of action here today. The up, the down, the spikes, the roller coaster type of trade today. But it did find support once it hit the 21 and then closed higher. Uh, mm, don't want to read too much into one day here. Yeah, it was just flat in this session. Did close 1% above the 21. So that's a decent little bounce for Google. And then the last one is NVIDIA. Had an encouraging day today, but still below that 50. So until it gets above the 50, you got to look there at 139.78, call it 140. It's got to get above there. It's got that buy point at 140.76. You could just see this thing is just marking time right now. So NVIDIA, I don't want to call it dead money, but I think you could do better elsewhere. All right, I'm going to get out of our Batman stocks and head over to. I talked about the leading stocks. You want to see how the leading stocks are behaving. That's going to tell you the health of the market. This thing could certainly crash right through, the 21. It could crash through the 50. Anything can happen in the stock market, but this stock was downgraded today. This is Astera Labs. So when a stock gets downgraded, I don't really listen too much to the downgrade. I don't care what the analysts say. I just want to see how the stock reacts. And the buyers were definitely coming in to support this stock today as it pulled back at the open. You can see it really, pulled back hard here. The first 10, 15 minutes, it pulled back to 125. Buyers came in and supported the stock, and then yeah, it sold off a little more, but high volume close. So this is telling me that it's finding support at the 21, and institutions aren't ready to sell this thing just yet. Encouraging sign for me for Astera Labs. Anyway, yeah, you could see, volume was a little higher than the last couple of sessions. So on a downgrade, I think this is fantastic action for a downgrade. One thing though, it has been getting support, at higher moving averages here along the way. You can see it's totally been getting support at the 10 here. And now today it got support at the 21. So that is a difference there. So you got to be cautious. Reddit is another one of these leading stocks here. It pulled back, undercut to 21 today. It did kind of the same thing as Sarah Labs. The first 15 minutes in is like, whoa, this thing's really crashing. But then buyers came in. So Reddit, another stock above the 21. I mean, to me, that's my holy grail, right? If it's above the 21, I'm happy, I'm okay holding it. If I'm below the 21, I'm really concerned. Okay. So anyway, if you're holding Reddit, it looks okay to me. Yeah, above the 21 is fine. And you got to expect some give and take. Like I say, first couple weeks of January, you're going to see some of this roller coaster activity, and we got it today. Another name I've got to get to that, leading semiconductor name is MRVL. Once again, pull back to the 21 found support, pull back to the 21 found support. Now today closed well above its 10 EMA, so this is good action for MRVL. And yeah, closed 15% above the 50 and 3.6% above the 21. So MRVL is looking strong as well. I got to look at the action in ARM, another one of these semiconductor. Okay, below all moving averages. It yeah, it was up on volume, but looks pretty ugly there. SMTC is another one of these smaller, 5 billion market cap semiconductor fabless stocks, just a smaller name that is doing well. You can see it broke out, of this consolidation pattern, ran up to made a high of 70.27, and then now it's kind of flagging, and flagging is good since the breakout here. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Volume drying up here as it flags, but yeah, SMTC looks good. Anyway, that's it for well, I had NVIDIA, Broadcom, ALAB, Marvell, okay, SMTC. I'm going to move on to the software names. We'll go hardware, software. This is Cloudflare, got an upgrade today. It was really cooking in pre-market, which I don't put a lot of credence into pre-market trading because oftentimes we'll see stocks up in pre-market and they sell off during the session, or vice versa. They're up in pre-market and sell off. So anyway, we've seen them down in pre-market and ramp up in pre-market, but this one kind of held steady today. Kind of surprised. It was just, yeah, there you go. Opened higher, a little bit of selling, and then just kind of flat for the day. Still up 4.5%. So nice day for Cloudflare, above its moving averages. So that's what I look for. Strong stocks are above. That's 1.5% above the 10. So that one looks good. App11, unbelievable. I thought App11 would have some tax selling today, because it was only up, what did I say, 780% in 2024. So you think, okay, they're going to sell first week of January, but nope, this thing was up 5.5% today, $18. It closed above all moving averages. This thing looks fantastic. I like it above the 50. I got to go back to the weekly here. Excuse me, 350. That was the high last week, 350. The high the prior week was 350. So if it can trade above that 350 level, and this thing's looking like maybe a 3 weeks tight pattern forming here in App11. So very encouraged by the action in that one today. Obviously, a leading stock in the market. This is CyberArk software, this computer software security, kind of in there with Cloudflare and CrowdStrike, Rubrik, and Palo Alto Networks. But anyway, this one had that 332 high recently, and broke kind of above the downtrend on Tuesday. Had the New Year's Day off, and then came in on Friday and tried to ramp higher, but closed near the lows of the session. You could see today it ramped up to 348, closed at 335, $13 off the high, and 3% of its daily range. Let's take a look at the Lucy pulling the football from Charlie Brown in this one. Look at that. Looks like it's really going to ramp, and then whoops, there goes your air pocket, your trap door, your rug pull, whatever you want to call it, your okey doke, your rope a dope. Still finished higher on the day and still above that 333, 32, buy area. So CyberArk looks good to me. Don't want to see that, selling into the close, but that's the way it goes. You can't always get what you want. You get what you need. This is Rubrik. Another one in this cybersecurity space. Pull back to the 21 today, still above the low of the gap day, which is 62.06. The low today was 64.05, so it's a couple bucks above it. Retested the low of this day, 63.85. So pull back to the 21, found support. Let's see what this looks like on the 5 minute here. So there's your pullback, and then support coming in, high volume close. Pretty nice action there for Rubrik, up 1.5% today. And is that all the software names? Oh, I got to go to KD. All right, the shooting forward for the Phoenix Suns. It needs to get above that 3643 here, but nice bounce off the 21. That's why I wanted to show this. It pulled back to the 21 and bounced sharply, closed near the highs of the session. There you go. That's a nice move there for KD. Kyndryl Holdings, 3574 was the high, closed 88% of the daily range. So pretty good move for Kyndryl today. Anyway, a lot of software I can get to. I'm not going to get to it all. I have one more. I want to look at service now. Yeah, okay. Pull back to the 50 for the first time, maybe since the breakout. Okay. Service now is a biggie, so we're going to have to continue watching that one, and hopefully it'll bounce pretty soon. I got to go to the drug stocks. I'm a little higher on drugs this year, not literally, figuratively, than I was, in prior years because Dr. No is going to be out of the way this year. And so, I think we're going to see more M&A activity. You can see how long this thing has been just going sideways for 3 years now. And I think it's about time, but it's about time it does something. And so TGTX, this is one that I watch. It's above its 50. It pulled back to its 50 for the first time since the breakout here, broke out of this base. Or you can see the pullback, cup with handle, boom. And then made that high of 36.84. Now it's pulled back to its 50. I'm expecting a bounce here above maybe a downtrending line, something like that. So maybe it's got to get back above 32 to be a real bounce. Today's action was okay. I mean, on a down tape, this thing was up, over 3%. So you can't cry about that. 76% of its daily range, and it's 1.8% above the 50 now, off the 50. So it needs to follow through here in the coming days and weeks. And I think they're going to deliver, just talking to some people, $100 million quarter this quarter. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. Anyway, we'll see what happens. WGS, this thing is not going to pull back to its 50. It's just consolidating in a base here. Looks pretty good to me. Broke above its downtrend line. This is one thing that interests me when they can do this. Yeah, touched there like 4 times, and today broke above it but closed below it. So that's kind of a bummer. It needs to get back above that downtrend line. I'd like to see it above 84.77 as well. And then the other one was ETON Pharmaceuticals. Made a new high today, broke above that 1398, so that looks pretty darn good to me as well. There you go, above 1398. So anyway, looking forward to one of my themes this year is the weight loss. Once again, these are not going anywhere. Viking was up 2%. Novo Nordisk, I think this is good risk reward down here below 90. Up nearly 2% today. Eli Lilly has sold off really hard. Still consolidating within a base below the moving average. This thing needs to rally, and I think it will in 2025. Anyway, I'm going to get out of there and go to, we had some news today in the energy utility patch, the government contract for Constellation. It was up, nearly $20, over 8%. And this thing sparked a rally in these utility, alternative energy, a lot of power needed for these data centers. And Vistra is another one that, I thought would get some window dressing at the year end, but it sold off prior to year end. And today, the first day of the new trading year, it rallies 8.5%. So this is not tech selling today for Vistra. Rallied through all of its moving averages. It had been trading below its 50. It's 21 and it's 10, now rallied back above all of them, now 5.4% above its 50. So a hell of a nice move for Vistra. This is one that I really like, but what are you going to do? It's just had a weak December, but up a lot in 2024. Once again, now it's up 293% last year. And I'm going to have to stop doing that because we're in a new year now. And then the other one is TLN, doing well. Bouncing off the 50 is what I want to say, 5.2% above the 50. And then GE Vernova, this one I think is going to have a heck of a year. Still consolidating in a base. Pull back to its 50 bounce. Now pull back to the 50 again and bounce pretty good today. 3% bounce, and now it's 3.6% above its 50. It doesn't have a 200 because it hasn't traded long enough. All right, that's it for the utility energy space. The oil and gas, utilities, and some tech were the strongest sectors today. So I got to go to the oil and gas space. KNTK, this is a transportation pipeline stock. This one, broke above its downtrend line, broke off of its moving average. Nice bounce there. 5.5% above this 50, and now 3.3% above the 21. So a nice bounce for Kinetic Holdings, which is an oil and gas transportation pipeline. Whenever I see those, I got to look at these. Yeah, these things have been hammered. Pipeline stocks, but don't give up on them. These are starting to turn here now, and oil and gas, excuse me, the oil prices have been ramping up a little bit here. It was below 70 for a long time, and now it's starting to get above and starting to push towards 80. So maybe we're not going to enjoy these low gas prices here for long. Anyway, this is AR, cup with handle pattern. You can see that had an inside day on Tuesday and then rallied back again. So Monday had a good day, up 6.5%. Inside day, gave back one, and today got that one back and change, 1.5%. So that one looks good. Another one I put on my ready list today was GPOR, and I just yeah, this one's straight up from the bottom. Okay, so usually when they do that, they need a little bit of time to, allow the moving averages to catch up. So it still has that buy point of 183.59. It's trading right near it, but it's going to allow the moving averages to catch up, I believe. I don't think it's just going to ramp, right up to 200. I think it's going to trade sideways, allow these moving averages to catch up. It's still looking good, consolidating within a base. That is Gulfport Energy, U.S. exploration stock. I've been watching Landman, so I'm more partial to these exploration stocks with Billy Bob Thornton. This is Chart Industries. This is oil and gas equipment stock. Bounced off its 21 today, then gave it all back. It was looking good. Oh well. DXPE is another one of these equipment stocks. Okay, this one bounced off its 10, made a new high. So DXPE definitely looks better than Chart. Another oil and gas play is AROC. Yeah, bounced off its moving averages today. That one looks good. EOG, this is part of your XLE. Um, um, what do you call it? Exchange traded fund. And this one had a nice move today with decent volume. And I've got to go to Chevron because it's the king of the XLE. And yeah, off the lows here. So these are starting to look like they're starting to gain some strength here. Second week in a row. Chevron is up. Anyway, that's it for the oil and gas names. I'm going to get out of there and go to some of these, the cryptocurrency names. They've been, Bitcoin went up to 108,000, came back down to like 90, and now it's rallied back up. It was up last time I looked around 98,000. And this is a Robinhood bouncing off its 21, up nearly 6% today. This one isn't tethered to Bitcoin like MicroStrategy is. MicroStrategy now having trouble at 300. You could see when it was rallying from 200, it went right through 300, right through 400, right through 500, and now it's giving it back and it's struggling here at 300. So keep my eye on MicroStrategy. It's definitely a stock that's tied to the price of Bitcoin. This is a Square, another one of these kind of Bitcoin related fintech plays. Pulled back to its 50 and bounced slightly today, just a little bit. Coinbase, another one of these platform stocks below the 50, no bueno. Anything else here in this group that I have that I was going to look at today? I think that's it. I did mention the fintech names. TOST is one that I like for this year. Now it's below its 50, so it's got work to do. For their CEO left and is sold off. That's this day here. The news came out December 4th. Pull back to its 50 now, found support, and it's trading 3.3% above the 10. So 4 looks pretty good. in the fintech space. All right, I got to move on because I got more themes here besides the AI, hardware, software, utilities, data center, energy, the weight loss drugs, the oil and gas. We got cryptocurrency, and now we still have, I believe, the boomers living their best life, spending their money. And this is Viking. And I'm only half playing there because there is some truth to it. 47.62 made the high pullback, still kind of flagging here. This one needs time, doesn't report earnings till next month, the end of next month. RCL, Royal Caribbean, pulled back to the 50. So let's see if it bounces. This is the first time it's pulled back there since its breakout from this cup with handle pattern. So let's see how it handles that. And then Carnival, that one did the same thing, pulled back to the 50. So these are trading in tandem. So we'll see how they can bounce. Another part of this group is Booking. This one's pulled back to its 50 as well. Okay, and then Expedia. Yeah, holding up okay. I'm sticking to it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it that the restaurants, the hotels, the airlines, they're all tied together. The booking and the cruise lines, they're going to do well in 2025 as us boomers continue to travel and spend money and live like kings. Anyway, let's go to since I mentioned the restaurant, the Shake Shack. This one looks good to me. It pulled back to its moving average and found support. You can see here a little flagging type action as it trades above its downtrend line. Yeah, I like Shake Shack a lot here. Looks pretty good, but you got to admit Brinker is the king here. Brinker is just making new highs. Had that high of 133.82, pulled back to its 21, found support, rallied up, pulled back to the 21, rallied up, pulled back to the 21, consistently finding support there. So that's a clear pattern, up 4% today. Congrats to the longs at Brinker. A couple other names that I like in this space. CAVA, once again, that 110, which is the low of the gap day, it held one more time. That was August 23rd. And look at how many times it came back to 110, 110. And now last week, down to 112, 110. On Monday, on Tuesday, 112. And today's low is 112.29. So it's starting to make higher lows. It's got to work through these moving averages, though. But you got to say that's an area of support. If they can't push it below the 110 level, that is an area of support. Now it's, above that level. So I'm watching Kava because I don't think it's done yet. It just broke out. I mean, if it's an IPO, right? It had a nice run. Maybe it is done. I don't know. But to me, I don't know. Seems like it should have more run in it. Maybe not though. I don't own it. I'm just watching it, and I like the restaurant group, and I think they're going to do well. Oh, Dutch Bros. This is one that I picked for my 2025 IPO stocks excuse me, not IPO stock, just stocks that I think will do well, that'll deliver for, good quarters in 2025. Not, going to go up 1,000% or anything, but 56.10 was an area of interest today and it closed above that today. You could say this is like a little Darvis box here as it pulled back to its 21. And what you like is, first day of the year, rallied on strong volume, made a new high. Making a new high with volume is bullish, up 7.5%. So Dutch Bros, yeah, you gotta like that one here. And 56.10 is your buy area if you're interested in owning a retail restaurant stock. I went through what, four of them. That's enough. I'm gonna stop there. A couple other names of interest here. ATGE, which is an education name, broke out of a base today, made a new high, but then pulled back a little bit. It was only up 2%. It was up much higher during the session. So let's see. It looks like it closed 43% of the daily range. Okay, up 2%. So maybe it's got more room to pull back to the 10 before it breaks out. We'll have to wait and see. LRN is another one of these education names, just trading sideways. Tried to pop above this downtrend line here. Yeah, touched that 3 or 4 times. Yeah, and it's got this little flag wedge pattern. So that one looks good. That's Stride, LR, and just some other names. I looked at the retail sales data and the Christmas sales. They were off the hook this year. People were spending for Christmas. And we're not really seeing it reflected in the retail stocks until earnings come, right? I think in earnings, these things are going to kick some butt. Urban making new highs today, so that one is being rewarded. Deckers, you think people bought some shoes for Christmas? I do. Um, this one just wedging here, looking pretty darn nice, actually. Made that high and this little wedge pattern. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one move. Pretty soon. They report earnings the end of this month. The high was 214.70 on December 20th. Um, yeah, this is the Powell whack day on the 18th. Yeah, so okay. Deckers is holding in there. I still believe Crocs is way undervalued and will fill this gap here at 130. Was it 135? Yeah. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you got it under 100, congrats. Thing is fairly inexpensive, and I believe when they report in the middle of February that they're going to paint a rosy picture for Hey Dude as we come into spring and summer inventory. The CEO is going to be a little more bullish. They signed they signed on the Stanley guy. They signed on they're just making a lot of moves here. I think they're doing the right thing. And so anyway, that one looks pretty good. Abercrombie and Fitch, do you think that had a good Christmas? I do. One of the things from the retail sales data showed that restaurants and apparel were pretty strong, and fragrances, makeup. So, speaking of which, how's our little elf doing? This one, once again, pull back to the 50. A lot of work to do. Not giving up on this one either. See if they can deliver, more than 40% sales growth and better earnings growth this time around. We'll see. You could say, oh, this is in a stage 4 decline. Maybe. But maybe, it'll just, form a base here and pop higher. Anyway, that's it for the retail sector. I've got to move on. Actually, that's it for me at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing, and that's Argentina. The Argentina stocks. Uh, this is the exchange traded fund. You can see how it popped today. This is ARGT. Up almost 6%. So you say what was moving? It was the banks, these Argentine banks. This is SUPV up more than 10% today. Bounced off the 10. This is when I say when stocks go up, make a new high, and then pull back, just waiting for the moving averages to catch up. When they do, they pop 10%. That's pretty nice. Don't you wish it could be like that all the time? This one pulled back to its 21 and popped more than 10% as well. This is GGAL, another one of these Argentine bank stocks. This one's at the bar, BBAR. This one popped off its 10 here, 14%. So these things are just super, super strong. The gas stock that I like here from Argentina popped off its 10. So the gas stocks are strong. That was up by nearly 5%. And then PAM is a utility, Argentina utility play, popped off its 10 EMA nearly 6%. So anyway, that's it for me. Argentina, very strong today. I'm looking forward to some IPOs in 2025. We had a good year for IPOs, better than 2023, and 2022 is a disaster. So we're getting more in 2023, more in 2024, and I think we're going to do a little better in 2025. I'm looking forward to Databricks, Anthropic, SpaceX, Stripe, and Viore, the Lululemon competition. I think those five will come public in 2025, and that's just purely speculation on my part. But I think we're going to do more dollar IPOs and more IPOs coming to market, which is good for the stock market. Anyway, that's just pure speculation on my part, but it is healthy for the market. Anyway, first day of 2025 was a downer, but I think you did okay. If you looked at the leading stocks, they're holding up well. And at mcstockcharts.com. Tomorrow's Friday, and I'll post in the morning, and we never, ever give up. Thank you for watching.